This video is going to be about positive permanent supply shocks. So first we have to start off with labeling our graph. So we start with E1 at equilibrium, Y star is equilibrium output, and then draw lines over to P1, which is equilibrium price. So let's define this over on the side. E1 is going to equal initial long run equilibrium. Okay, and then for this example, we are going to say that technological progress has been made in the economy. We know that this means that the output will be affected, output will go up. We know that this means that both the long-run aggregate supply curve and the short-run aggregate supply curve will both be shifted, and they will both be increasing or shifting to the right. Okay, so let's start with shifting the short-run aggregate supply curve first. And we will shift it to the right, put our arrows so we know which way it's going, and we'll make a small line because this will not be the last time that this line shifts. We're going to label this SRAS2. Then we can go ahead and label new short run equilibrium. We will call this E2. And then Y2 is the output, and P2 is going to be the price. And now we are going to shift the long run aggregate supply curve because we know that they're both shifting and they are shifting at different levels. So I moved long run to the right. We can go ahead and label this LRAS2, and then we know that short run aggregate supply is going to have to keep shifting until it reaches the new long run curve. So then we'll shift short run again. And then now that we've shifted short run enough to where the AD, LRAS, and SRAS curve are intersecting again, we know that this is the new equilibrium, and we can go ahead and label that. We have Y3 as the new output, P3 as the new price, and then we can go ahead and label the new long run equilibrium E3, and then go back and label E2, because we never did that. And then we can go ahead and write down what all of this means. So E2 was our new short run equilibrium, and then at this equilibrium, P2 was less than P1, and Y2 was greater than Y1. But this is not where we stopped because long run had to shift as well. And then that gave us E3, which is our new long run equilibrium. And short run kept shifting and shifting until we finally got there. And then we saw that at this equilibrium, P3 was greater than P1, and then Y3 was greater than Y1. And then Y3 being our new equilibrium output was greater than our old equilibrium output. So we can see with permanent supply shocks that the economy eventually does go back to long run equilibrium, but it is at a new equilibrium price and output than it was previously at. We also remember that the short run aggregate supply curve will keep shifting until it meets the point where the long run curve and the aggregate demand curve are also getting intersected by the short run curve.